Shall we play a game?
Rawr, bitches. We're live. Tonight we're going to play the Innsmouth Case. Innsmouth. Lovecraftian. That's all I know. Ins and outs. I doubt you're referring to the Discworld cheesemongers. I am not referring to the Discworld cheesemongers. I just tried to come up with a title, and that's the first thing that popped in my mind. And hey, are you back from work? Let's hop into it. I don't know how long this game is. If it ends quick, so be it. Let's get some sound. Let's get a little more sound. And go. So there's no talking, just reading. I don't know that I want to narrate this whole thing. Maybe that's a bit too much. We're fans of the strange world of Innsmouth, but we recognize the problematic beliefs of H.P. Lovecraft. This game has been produced by a group of people who believe in inclusion and equality. Good for you. Let's go. Your progress in the story will be saved at the end of each chapter. There are 35 chapters in total. Holy crap. At the end of a chapter, the screen fades to black and a green save icon appears at the bottom right. We recommend you always end the game after such a save point to make sure none of your progress is lost. Yeah, it's a lot of reading. Oh, I mean, this is reading. And we all know that I don't do the English very well. Austin, 21st September. The last rays of sunshine filter through the blinds of your empty office. A pathetic stench of whiskey, old cigarette smoke, and canned ravioli fills the air. That sounds actually really good. The screeching tires, spelled the English way, and constant beeping of car horns out there on the street tell you that it's gone 8 p.m. People are on the way home, finishing their day. You should join them. You decide. It must be like a choose your own adventure book. I love choose your own adventure books. I have them all, literally, since the 80s. And the new ones. I want to stay at my desk. Your day was long and frustrating. You're running out of ideas on how to handle the calls of people who want money from you. It's my life. A cold shiver runs down your spine as you flick through a pile of unpaid bills. This is definitely my life. On the top of the pile is a reminder from your landlady. You're 2 months behind on rent. The next one is a three-figure invoice from a games company for in-app purchases. Okay, this might be me. You tried to claim them as business expenses in your last investigation, but somehow your client refused to pay. Then there's the second reminder from your internet provider threatening to cut off your connection. You might take legal action, because without the internet, you can't work or live. I got a problem with this game, because they're basically reading my life. You really need more in-app purchases. Your lawyer, a cigarette, I need a cigarette. You're toying with the idea of a cigarette when you catch a glimpse of an unpaid bill from your doctor. Maybe you don't need to smoke after all. Maybe not. You breathe a deep sigh. It may not have been a successful day, but at least it's over. You're looking forward to a classic Friday night. Wednesday night. Watching old mystery series at home in sweatpants and getting drunk on cheap booze. Since the early afternoon, you've been staring at the foreboding bottle of liquor at the end of the room. Why is it foreboding? It's good. Up until now, a vague sense of professionalism has kept you from drinking yourself into oblivion. Now nothing stands in the way. Suddenly you hear someone at the door. Look, they can do a knocking sound, but who is it? The door slowly cracks open with a timid creak. The unknown guest pauses. Then, in a breathy and melodic tone, you hear a woman utter,
Hello?
Your insides cramp. You suddenly realize that you haven't cleaned your office at all this year. You quickly try to clean up? No. You invite her in. By the light of the desk lamp, you see by the light of the desk lamp, you now see more than a silhouette. A breath-taking woman lights up your office. No doubt older than 40, maybe even 50. Hard to say. Clad in black, a skin-tight dress culminating in a décolleté that seems to defy the laws of gravity. A smoky eyeshadow, as dark as algae washed ashore. That would be green, bud. Blonde, coiffed, wavy hair under a dark beret. A faint light of the setting sun catches in the strands of her hair, and you wonder how many heads this woman must have turned during her prime. She's completely different from your usual customers, nervous bankers with sweat stains under their armpits, convinced their wives have something going with the mailman. Every move she makes is a calculated grace. Smooth as an eel, she walks towards you and sits down on the corner of your desk. So, wet and slimy? Determined, she walks towards you and sits down on the corner of your desk. Which is a little bold, which makes you nothing makes me blush, fuck. Which is a little bold without asking you first. But as a professional, you're not giving anything away. She seems to want to play the seductive damsel in distress. The quiet, amused voice of your subconscious is pleased that this stranger may be sharing your enthusiasm for film noir cliches. A far louder voice is surprised that this woman seems to think that a sexy pose and revealing clothes could win you over. And both voices agree that they don't like being manipulated. You don't think that the stranger perched on your table is trying to recover from a hard working day as a lingerie model, and therefore you see no logical reason for her behavior. Amen. When she begins to speak, her voice is smoky and full of promise.
My name's Tabitha Marsh, and I'm looking for a private investigator. I was told you were one of the best.
She extends her hand. Kiss it? You've come to the right place, lady. Or decline. Oh, let's... You kiss her hand and waggle your eyebrows in the same manner you've seen so often in those classic movies. This woman moves in higher circles and is used to luxury. You can tell by the strong smell of caviar she gives off. If you play this right, you might even be able to increase the fee for this case. What now? We flirty flirt, we get down to business. No, we flirty flirt. Nothing is quite as attractive as a heroic private investigator, you think to yourself, while at the same time secretly trying to remove a piece of spinach lodged between your teeth. What's a smart lady like you doing in a disgusting office like this?
This is your office?
Delilah replies, bemused. You smile and nod slowly. Damn, you should change the subject quickly. And now, take her out for dinner? Pay her a compliment. No, we can go farther. We pay her a compliment. You lean forward and look deep into her eyes. You compliment her on, I'm gonna guess, her eyes. You lean forward. Your visitor looks at you expectantly. Ma'am, if you don't mind me saying, you have the most beguiling eyes I've ever had the fortune to look into. I can't get enough of them. Delilah absentmindedly touches her cheek, a smile pulling around the corners of her mouth. Not bad. Go on about her eyes, or go for the jugular? We're going for the jugular. You get up and walk around your table without letting her out of your sight for a second. The woman looks at the door tentatively, then back at you. She touches a strand of her hair and tucks it behind her ear. You take her hand to yours and say suggestively, true beauty, or $1,000 a day plus expenses. Okay. True beauty. For I never saw true beauty till this night, you whisper in her ear. She giggles.
Oh, you.
What happens next is a different story, and we won't get into that here. Bullshit, we won't. You know what happened. After all, you were there. When you wake up in your bed the next day, your hair tousled, Delilah's gone. All that remains is an empty bottle of red wine, 2 open frozen pizzas, and a still warm blanket or video game console. I mean, I don't know what year this is supposed to be, so I'm gonna go with blanket. It was a dark and stormy night. The rain fell in torrents. On your bedside table, you find an envelope marked expenses and a photo of a strange-looking girl, along with a handwritten note explaining your mission. Delilah's little daughter has disappeared, and you're supposed to find her. An address for you to deliver her is also cited. Nothing unusual here. A common case of little girl running away from home after reading her first romance novel. Usually they hide at the edge of the forest, or in a library. Should be an easy case. You don't have much time to prepare. A quick search reveals that only one bus goes to Innsmouth, and only once a day. A pattern emerges in your research. A few news items related to this little coastal town are all about missing persons. In addition, you find some rather old-fashioned articles that praise the coastal town as a secret holiday destination. The best fish, untouched beach promenade, authentic fishing people are the recurring buzzwords. Delilah has given you the address at which you're supposed to drop off her daughter as soon as you find her. She also wrote down her phone number on the child's photo. You take another look at the photo, or the picture before you pack your things. Giggity! The next morning you travel by bus or by hitchhiking. No, we got the money. We'll take the high road and go by bus. Boston, 22 September. Your journey begins at a busy bus station. Good Lord. There's supposed to be a bus line that departs from here to Innsmouth. Buses, you think to yourself, are not only an environmentally friendly means of transportation, they're also easy on your wallet. Sadly, the departure boards aren't of much help. New York, Maine, Rhode Island, no trace of Innsmouth as a destination. You wander around for a while until you notice a cleaner eating a sandwich on the side of one of the vending machines. Why would I? You look around. Let's see. Talk to the cleaner or continue searching. I mean, talk to the cleaner? Excuse me, where can I find the bus to Inns? Without letting go of a sandwich, the cleaner points to an abandoned counter in the dingiest corner that a public bus station could be capable of. The man gives you a nod, indicating that anything that can be said has indeed been said. You find that the counter is elaborately decorated with cobwebs. It's a bit early for Halloween preparations, but at least someone made an effort. At the moment, no one seems to be there. You press your face against the plastic window to peer into the room behind. Hello? Hello, is anyone there? I have to go to Innsmouth. No one there. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a bus ticket appears on the counter. Might the trip be for free? Let's see. Should you leave a payment? Do we leave a donation or do we just take the ticket? Let's be classy about it. We're gonna leave a donation. You're a staunch defender of the law. It goes without saying that you pay. You put a few coins in the bowl underneath the foggy glass window. Hopefully they won't be stolen by the next passenger. Even if someone were sitting behind the counter, you wouldn't be able to see him. It's just too dark. You're distracted for a few seconds and suddenly there's some change on the counter. What's that amongst the coins? A small golden fishing hook? How strange. Where's this bus hiding? In between the polished greyhounds and travelers stowing their luggage, saying goodbye and dropping tiredly onto the seats, there's kind of a dumpster. A dumpster with windows and wheels. No, it's actually a bus. It's a bit on the rusty side, and even from a distance, you sense the strange smell it emits. Is that sulfur? You're not convinced how this thing is supposed to drive. In its vicinity, everything is noticeably quieter than at the other bus stops. The people getting on show no sign of emotion. No one's trying to jump the queue here. Instead, the passengers move past the bus driver at a uniform speed, one after another, shuffling up the creaking steps. Each two-seater bench is occupied by individuals, as if they want to make sure not to come in contact with their fellow passengers. The sign clearly says Innsmouth. No departure times, no stopovers, just Innsmouth. Undecided, you're standing on the stairs of the bus. Talk to the driver, show your ticket, sneak past in silence. I guess when in Rome, we'll just show our ticket. You hand the driver the ticket. No reaction. At least you can't make out a reaction. The lighting is poor, and the shadow of his dusty, driver's cap almost covers his entire face. You notice something strange on his neck, but you can't quite make out what it might be. You're standing in the door waiting for an okay, a nod, anything. The sulfur odor has increased. A queue is formed behind you, but no one's pushing or complaining. The people wait quietly and patiently. Yeah, I should get out of here, but game. Say something. No. Just keep walking. Just keep swimming. You shuffle sideways through the center aisle. English spelling. You don't remember the bus looking this long from the outside. You're surrounded by shabby two-seater benches, and some are already occupied. One traveler per row. The last bench is free. Looks like the upholstery is torn in some places, though. Or has it been slit open? You can see springs with sharp wire edges, and some sticky liquid seems to have leaked onto the floor. Why don't you sit down in one of the free rows? Here in the back, almost everything is occupied. Most of the passengers seem to have purposely sat down in the aisle seats, blocking off the window seats. Maybe this is an opportunity to get a little closer to the common Innsmouth visitor. You gaze across the row of seats. Sit down with someone or get to the back. Back of the bus, bitch. You've always been the cool outsider. At least that's what you like to tell yourself. So you take the back row, which you have all for yourself. The ride won't take that long, will it? You'd wish you'd paid a little more attention to the map. The smell of sulfur rises into your nose again. You try to sit down carefully without tearing your clothes on the wire springs of the seat cushion. Suddenly a jolt. You can't balance and you're pressed into your seat by the most mysterious of all invisible forces. Gravity. The bus starts without any warning. Because of the abrupt start, a bunch of yellowed paper has rolled across the dirty floor right in front of you. You pick it up, look at it. The newspaper. Innsmouth Illustrated. From April of last year. How useful. Should we read it or spread it on the seat? Sit down. I mean, this isn't a toilet, bud. Just read it. According to a faded sticker, the subscriber of the newspaper was a certain C.G. Young. The Innsmouth Illustrated actually offers a lot of entertaining articles. All these features and listicles give the impression at the end of this trip you'll find yourself in an adorable up-and-coming tourist metropolis. I've never used the word listicles before. It's like your balls are lighter. You have listicles. A real insider tip. Well. Do we read some more? We put away. No, we keep reading this fucking masterpiece. You decide to read every damn article in this paper. Preparation is everything, as you know. And apart from that, you're bored to death. You find out that the Innsmouth has a boardwalk and that even a bench bar was open last year. Finally, you discover the crossword puzzle, which turns out to be quite difficult. Bullshit. Quite a lot of fish-related terms. See you later, what? You've got that one. But you get stuck on making pastries, but with H or toll road. That's too difficult for you at the moment, and you throw the newspaper in the corner. Finally, your eyes close, and the rest of the ride, you sleep peacefully. I don't think we do. The bus leaves the country road and turns off at a wooden sign that says Innsmouth in red, flaky letters. The journey continues rather bumpily along a narrow dirt road littered with numerous potholes. In the distance, some houses are already visible. Seagulls circling the roofs of the outermost edge of the city. Slowly, all the passengers take their bags from under the seats and get ready. Curiously, you look. The front window or the side window? I mean, I'm at the back of the bus, so I'd have the back out of myself. The side window. That's odd. The bus passes by a huge... What is this? Scrapyard? Parking lot? Why would something like this be here right outside the city? You pass another wooden sign whose half-peeled writing advertises the Innsmouth Park and Ride Area. A lot of cars look like they've been sitting here for years. Sand covers some of the bonnets and windscreens. Definitely UK. The front of the bus opens with a squeak and you join the monotonous line of locals stepping through the bus as if in a daze. Almost walking in step, you all get closer to the exit. As you walk down the steps, you have to protect your eyes from the sunlight. Turns out the windows of the bus were tinted. The other passengers shuffle off. Finally, Innsmouth. You examine your surroundings while you stretch your legs trying to unwind from the stressful journey. No artist could have adequately captured the serenity and beauty of this place. The clear blue sky lights up the town square, which is paved with bright limestone and surrounded by neo-colonial buildings reminiscent of 19th century New England. A fresh sea breeze, frying seagulls, and all the locals going about their business. At the center of the square, water trickles from a fountain. As you stretch your limbs and breathe in the clean air, you're suddenly startled by the water feature right in front of you. The fountain is an enormous fish bless America! I gotta fix that.
Gassiziel as a 24-month RAR pack member. Whatever.
Thank you? Why, whatever. Whatever. It's 2 months, 2 years. 2 years, man. Where was I? Oh. The fountain is an enormous fish-like brass creature. An open jaw lined with shark-like fangs sprouts brackish water down its massive, inhumanly contorted body. As if that wasn't enough, there appears to be human bodies squirming underneath its massive claws. Their faces are as contorted as yours as right now. How long have you been standing here? Eyes wide open in shock, you feel utterly paralyzed. You start to scan the town square and notice more and more disturbing details. On every corner you spot ornamental statues and reliefs of fish. These are not your classic, harmless kind of fish. These are pagan symbols and grimaces of supernatural creatures from the darkest crevasses of the deep sea. In surrounding houses, you can see faces pressed against the windows. All the locals appear to be watching you. You suddenly start to think that the cries of the seagulls sound particularly human-like. They sound like humans crying out in pain. What happened to the idyllic scene from a few moments ago? Welcome to Innsmouth. Turn around. Turn around. Welcome to Innsmouth. How nice of you to visit. A small elderly woman waves you from afar. She beams at you as if you were her long-lost grandchild. She seems very different to the bores you've met so far on the bus into town. Her squealing shakes you out of your nightmarish panic. I should have been doing it right.
It's so good to have you here. I've noticed you're very taken by a local fountain. It was built in 1704 by Abdul Necrotis, favorite artist and friend of Charles Dexter Tillinghast, the founder of Innsmouth. The central figure was a present. It was supposed to commemorate their travels together through Cairo. You can clearly see the Egyptian influences in Herodotus' work, here and here.
She points wildly in every direction.
And here, but I'm sure you've already noticed this yourself. You look like someone who knows his way around art.
She says with a wide smile. You're still in shock. She beams at you. Who the hell are you? Of course I'm an art historian. I'm not. Who the hell are you?
Oh, have I not introduced myself? I'm ever so sorry.
In front of you now stands a small, plump person in a tasteless costume. Your rudeness doesn't seem to curb her enthusiasm in the slightest.
My name is Muriel Pooping Place. I'm the director of the Parks Commission, chief tourism officer, and head of the Welcome Committee. Ta-da!
Pooping Place. Behind Muriel, there's a ramshackle wooden information stand lovingly decorated with balloons. A colorful painting sign reads, "Welcome to Innsmouth." Muriel tiptoes over to her information stand and picks up a whole load of flyers and leaflets from the racky display cases. She looks down at all the paper in her arms and briefly shrieks with laughter.
My goodness, why did you take this city map to begin with?
Useful. You take the map and put it into your coat pocket.
Would you like to find out more about our wonderful town, which has been awarded the East Coast Stunning Town Award for several years in a row?
And would you? Yeah, why not? Muriel claps her hands excitedly and squeals. She begins unfolding one of her maps and points at 3 different locations in the town.
The town center here should you be the next stop in your trip. There's a lively, up-and-coming shopping street in Innsmouth, and since May, our local fountain has even had real running water.
Muriel starts waving her index finger at you.
I know what you're thinking. This town is being too showy for its own good, but I can assure you that we've kept our feet on the ground, even after the whole thing with the East Coast Stunning Town Awards.
Her finger now points to a different area on the map.
The old town of Innsmouth is completely preserved. You'd think nothing was ever done to the facades of the old houses. Within 4 miles of here, you won't find any new builds.
Your face has unwillingly slipped in an expressionless mask due to the sheer boredom of it all. And then, Muriel points to the coastline on the map.
The amazing beach promenade. A dreamy beach with a bar that serves all the drinks your heart desires. I hope you brought enough stress with you, because at the beach, pure relaxation awaits you.
Holy crap. The small woman chortles. Thanks. Thanks ever so much, ma'am. Muriel seems delighted.
Nothing gives me more pleasure than ensuring visitors have a great time in our pretty little town. Will you be staying for a few nights? I can only recommend staying as long as you can. There's just so much to see. Trust me, by the end of their stay, you won't want to leave.
Damn it. How long are you gonna stay? It's been 1 week. Overnight. It's a short trip. I'm gonna be staying a week.
Oh, how wonderful. Here, take this coupon for the Gillum Hotel. You'll find...
God bless America!
A basket of pups as a 26-month RAR pack member. Twitch makes me say this, or annoyingly nags me.
Thank you, and... Twitch makes you say this. Makes you say what? I just noticed she has really saggy knockers.
Here you'll find luxurious 19th century flair and expect a sophisticated service. Among its guests, the hotel has counted heads of state from faraway countries, Hollywood celebrities, world-famous pop stars, as well as 2 former presidents. Just tell the reception that Muriel sends you.
Muriel winks at you and hands you another colorful flyer. For subscription anniversaries, they put up a button that won't go away. Oh, no shit. Huh, I never knew that. You've had enough now. You point to your wrist while backing away. Still so much to see, you know. Thanks again for everything. Bye. Muriel's eyes move past you and settle on a tourist family right behind you. Seemingly at the flick of a switch, she backs to her gleeful demeanor, bouncing over to the family and waving her brochures. I mean, it eventually does, but I can't stand it, so I have to click. Oh, thank you. I mean, to make it annoying. You head further into town along the cobbled road in the direction of the coast. Not long ago, the sun was as bright in the sky, but already the first wafts of mist are creeping onto the streets. The air feels thicker and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. Time to think about where you want to go. You slow down. You lean your briefcase against a wall and start pacing up and down the quiet alleyway. I also like seeing you scream in pain. Yeah, I'm gonna fix that. That was I don't know what happened. That seemed louder when you and Cassie did it. It was just ear splitting. I don't know if I bumped. I have a separate system over here for controlling the outgoing sound that I hear. I must have bumped it or turned it without knowing it. You've got an important choice to make right now. The city center, spelled English, is in the north. Even from afar, you can see the outlines of the old and ornately decorated buildings in the main town square. Here you should find the police station, the main shopping street, and of course, the town hall. As a coastal town, Innsmouth also has a harbor. From your research, you found out that this bustling area with a dreamy beach. You expect there to be mostly tourists. According to your research, the only hotel in town, the Gilman Hotel, is located in the old town. You think about checking in. You could do with freshening up and getting rid of that bus smell that's still clinging to your clothes. Just as you're about to set off, your heart leaps into your throat. You've forgotten your briefcase. This has never happened to you. I swear, baby, this never happens to me. You usually take good care of the little zest. Excuse me. There's nothing you can do about this now. You'll have to wait until your return journey to find out whether someone has handed it in to the lost and found. Still, you could swear that the briefcase was already gone when you got off the bus. You literally said you just set it down and walked away. You decide on the city, the Gilman, or the harbor. I think I want to go... Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If an others let it go, my mouth. You are the very best one, and you are not it. Okay, the harbor. Innsmouth Harbor is signposted much better than the local hospital. You wonder if a hospital is even needed here. It's a half-hour walk. A mile-long carpet of cobblestones is now ahead of you. The traffic in Boston is more hectic, but at least they have heard of asphalt before. As you keep walking, there are fewer and fewer residential buildings along your path. In their stead, there are now warehouses that must be fish markets due to the smell. You can also hear the occasional metallic clanking from nearby workshops. People in gray raincoats are walking toward you. They're probably fishermen who have some errands to run. Now and again, in that split second when you pass one another, you catch a glimpse of the faces hidden underneath the hoods. Puffy eyes that look at you suspiciously. Although there are a few clouds in the sky, there's no chance of rain as far as you can tell. Why are they all wrapped up like that? You wonder if they have a sixth sense for approaching storms. The sound of the rhythmic blows of a hammer nearby tears you away from these thoughts. It would be interesting to watch the work in the shipyard, but little Tabitha is unlikely to be there or be here is unlikely to be here to play. English speaking well, good, me. From a distance, you could already see the masts of the boats, which rise up to the sky like a row of spears. You walk along a small street at the quay, with the harbor basin just behind it. Breathe in the sea breeze. Or look around. Look around. The view of the harbor is splendid. Boats of all shapes and sizes are coming and going. Nets are being emptied out, and fish seem to be endlessly splashing into a huge freezer boxes. Local trades are being sealed with handshakes, and at the end of a wide headland, a large lighthouse watches majestically over the bay. The ideal postcard motif if it weren't for the people. Humans, right? You only know fishermen from the movies, and you have to admit you have a certain prejudices. These include they have weather-beaten skin, and the captains always have well-groomed beards. They're either strong, silent types or hard-drinking lads who sing filthy sea shanties. But these creatures in front of you are neither majestic nor leery. They move around more like tragic hunchbacks you'd expect to see in French cathedrals. A few yards to the right, there's a fork in the road and a road sign pointing farther north. Its inscription reads, Innsmouth Paradise Beach. In the far distance, you can see a building that looks like a church. Hang on, a church? On the coast? How eccentric. You go. I mean, you're telling me to go to the church. I'm going to the church. The church is located on a hill overlooking the harbor. You're immediately drawn towards it. You stroll along the docks towards the cliffs. You take in the pleasant sea breeze and the hustle and bustle of the ships. Your original mission pops into your mind. This place is so relaxing, it's just too easy to forget about the little girl. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see 3 fishermen whose boat has just moored. They're not working. In fact, they're not doing anything. They're just standing there staring at you. That feeling of serenity is slowly being overtaken by anxiety. What are you looking at me for? You shout across at them, giving them an aggressive look. You bet these little sea oafs have never before come across a tough city type such as yourself. One of the 3 still observes you with mild interest. The others are already looking at their nets. After a few yards, you turn around. They're all gone. The crew must have disappeared below deck in their little boat. What a strange bunch. Suddenly, it's utterly plausible that the people in this town can disappear just like that. You're a little closer to the church building now, and you're relieved to find there are a few dozen people outside its gates. And they're not the usual creepy Innsmouth kind. The group are gesticulating, bleh, and discussing something in a very animated manner. Normal people! As you reach the courtyard, you're able to assess the situation a little better. 2 groups with about the same number of people are confronting one another, surrounded by a few more reserved onlookers. 2 shouty people who appear to be the representatives of the 2 camps are facing each other. A bronze plaque is displayed above the gates to the entrance. Engraved on it, Esoteric Order of Dagon. Ignore the crowd and go to the church, or join the mob. We join the mob. You walk up to the crowd. You peek over the shoulders of the stocky figures in front of you, who are listening to the 2 men and occasionally nod or mumble words of dissent. One of the 2 squabblers, a weather-beaten man with bulging eyes, is just about to launch into the finale of his speech. And therefore Dagon is the one God who created us in his own image. And his only son is Obed Marsh, came to earth as man. He is Dagon himself because we... No, his counterpart interrupts. He is the bearded professor type dressed in a gray wool sweater whose highlights every word with an aggressive jab of the pipe in his hand. I like him already. Dagon is the creator of the world, but he's above us. He has no children or nothing even close to his kind of thing. Even saying this is hearsay. It's in the writings of his prophet, Abdul Alzared. Yeah, that guy. With a scrunched up face and in high-pitched voice, the sailor repeats these last words. Abdul Alzared. What a load of horse dung. The crowd is now on fire. Their fists are raised and there's a crackling tension among the onlookers. Oh yeah? And the whole Obed Marsh was born by immaculate conception when Mary Ann Marsh was bathing in the sea story? What do you call that? Kinda hot, I call it. She was blessed there to receive Obed, and you know it, the bug-eyed sailor shouts out, no longer trying to contain his anger. You know it, he adds, hissing quietly. Hissing quietly, like... The ongoing murmur of the crowd is occasionally drowned out by the heavy breathing of the two main speakers. No one's going to say anything about the tentacles on his face. The crowd is up in arms. Go to the church, get involved. We're going to cause some shit. Let's do it. You decide that it's a good idea to get involved in religiously motivated arguments. You're fucking right, I do. You push your way through the ranks of the gawkers and clear your throat loudly. The two men turn to you, as does everyone else present. You're examined for a few seconds, and in judging by the disparaging looks, the collective has quickly come to a unanimous verdict. You're not welcome here. I can help you. Or, oh, sorry, I think I'm mistaken. No, fuck you, I can help. I can help you, you promise. Ever the optimist. Oh yeah? How exactly? The fisherman grunts at you. I don't recall seeing you at any of the theological study groups of the esoteric order of Dagon. His opponent agrees. Exactly. And I've never seen you at the bingo. At the bingo. You can hear people agreeing on both sides of the conflict. The bingo. Not only do you think that it's a good idea to get involved in religiously motivated arguments, you also think it's a good idea to get involved without ever having a hint of a clue of what's going on. Hi, welcome to my life. It's poor life choices like these that have cost you a number of teeth during your various bar brawls. Fine, at least you managed to unite them against you. The first step towards the solution, surely. I can help you if you explain to me what's going on. You give me more information that I require first. Now explain the shit to me. The face of the fisherman lights up. You immediately realize the grave tactical error you've just made. You've just asked a religious nutter to explain his worldview to you. This might take a while. This is too realistic. Now look, stranger, here in this town we are blessed with the knowledge of Dagon, the only true God. And almost immediately your attention levels drop to below zero. You remember your strange aunt whose brain had to be utterly mangled by esoteric nonsense and medical cannabis. You try to follow what he's saying, mentally switch. No, let's hear the nutter out. Your counterpart is rattling down all the sad conspiracy theory worldviews you've heard 100 times before on midnight radio shows and internet forums around the world. Chakras, yeah. Energy flows, sure. Great old ones, chemtrails, reptiloids, ley lines, ritual human sacrifices. The earth is hollow but also flat. Vaccinations cause autism but magnets heal it. The moon landing could not have happened because there are malicious toad creatures on the moon. And there's slaves from Leng are at war with cats. People on Earth should be made aware of these things, but the Bilderberg group is withholding information at the behest of extraterrestrial polyps from the future. I've heard that. You clear your throat tentatively. Both sides take this as a signal you've heard sufficient evidence. The professor takes the floor. So far, I agree with my opponent, except for the small fact that everything he just said is bullshit, a blasphemy on the first order, only believed by idiots. Idiots like those of the esoteric order of Dagon. The fisherman is outraged. You godless smell fungus! I'll smash your heretic face in. I dare you to try, you heathen liquor. Long live the Dagon Order of the Esoterics. The two men are being kept apart from one another by their respective supporters with great difficulty. Both shake their fists at each other, try to intervene and stand between them, ask them both to remain calm, quickly back. No, let's get into this shit. You jump in to act as a human buffer between the two agitated parties. Hey, you shout, what's the point of this? The two men still look at each other, panting with excitement. They're in love. Let them be. You advise them to turn to the teachings of the religion or find a minority to unite against. I mean... yeah. Talk about your nutters. Can't your religion help you with your conflict? That's what religions are for, right? To provide guidance in difficult moments to desperate people or celebrities? Both faith groups pause for a moment. The furrowed expressions on their face indicate genuine surprise. Our religion? They ask almost in unison. In the Shoggoth Songs 711, it is written that a child of Dagon must not harm his brothers and sisters, someone shouts from the crowd. It also says there that you should throw your third-born child into the sea, and nobody does that. Silence. The Cthulhu chorals instruct us to slay anyone who soils the name of our god, someone murmurs to bridge the tense silence. That doesn't help us with our issue. Perhaps our guest is right, one of the two leaders shouts, his arms stretched out wide. The other agrees. Perhaps it takes a heathen outsider to remind us that the answer to all our questions. Here he theoretically waves his green Bible up to the heavens, lie in the writings of Dagon and the writings of Abdul Azared, the other man quickly adds. It obviously takes the fisherman a lot of effort not to hit him over the head with a Bible. Instead, he takes a deep breath. Remarkable. Now let's each consult our scriptures and see which one of us is right. The mob forms two reading groups and sits down on the uncomfortable floor in front of the church to study their Bibles. A few of the angry sailors who were screaming loudly until just a few seconds ago are suddenly in a terrible hurry. They apologize, children to look after, washing to be done. You're now standing on the church square undisturbed. I think we can go in now. The dark wooden church gates are imposing. The thick rivets of black metal hinges would withstand a whole army. You're unsure whether the church might be closed right now, but you still reach for the cold handle and push it down. You lean against the door, and to your surprise, it opens. You step inside. As you step inside, you find yourself in a kind of grotto. Only a few candles are lit inside the hall. The slim windows are decorated with the kind of mosaics that you know from other churches too. Yet, something's wrong here, you think to yourself. Where usually there are red, blue, and yellow specks of light, here there's just a monotonous greenish-gray glow, just as if the seaweed had crystallized and formed abstract shapes. Rows of benches stretch out all the way to the pulpit, but many of them have been overturned or vandalized. The church is in ruin. The church is a ruin, a chilly, uninviting place, like most churches. Cool, blue daylight enters through a crack in the ceiling, and just below, a puddle is formed on the floor. You scrunch up your nose at the smell of decay at this place. You look around. You look around the hall, and towards the front you can see a few rows of benches that are still standing upright. You realize you're not alone. There is someone sitting on the last bench just in front of the altar. You can only make out a half-bald head with white bushy hair sticking up to its sides. The man might be waiting for the next mass, or he might be a criminal repenting all by himself. To the right of the altar is a small door which presumably leads down to the crypt. There are paintings all around the walls. You look more closely at the painting, walk up to the altar, sit down on one of the benches, or you leave the church. Let's look at the painting since you talked about it. Very strange. From your years of admittedly declining church attendance, you're very well acquainted with the kinds of paintings usually displayed, the Passion of Christ and all that. This congregation clearly believes in a very different kind of legend. The first picture shows sailboats leaving a harbor, presumably Innsmouth, and going off to the ocean. There are women stooped over and wailing, children and dead people? Yes, dead bodies appear to be piled up all around the harbor. Picture number 2 depicts the boats being exposed to gigantic waves during a horrendous storm. The third picture shows idyllic island miraculously untouched by harsh weather. The boats have landed here. In the fourth picture, it is night. 2 people are standing in front of a bonfire. A highly problematic depiction of one of the islanders is holding something red in their hands. A man, in traditional mariner clothes, accepts the red things. You look at the adjacent wall. There are more pictures over there, as you can already tell that they too have been vandalized. Look at the other paintings or decide you've seen... No, let's look at paintings. The pictures on the adjacent wall do not continue the morbid tale. Instead, here you find the kind of pictures that you initially expected to see. The Stations of the Cross that is usually displayed in churches. Without exception, they have been vandalized. The canvases have been split. Even the decorated frames have been destroyed, with the splintered wood still strewn across the floor. You wonder who would do such a thing. Lawyers? Your landlady? The gardener? I mean, I want to go with lawyers. Funny, not so funny. Let's go with the not so funny. Who knows? As you keep studying the pictures, you notice there is method to the madness. Whoever was responsible for the vandalism was going after the biblical figures in a scratched liar, losers, you're to blame, and other allegations next to them. History lesson. Your mouth has gone more and more dry while you were looking at the pictures. Something is very wrong in this town. You walk backwards almost automatically until you bump into another row of benches. You feel like you've seen enough of these vandalized pictures and creepy Innsmouth Bible stories. You look around. Walk up to the altar, sit down on one of the benches, or leave. Don't want to leave. I want to sit or go to the altar. Go to the altar. A sense of morbid curiosity makes you walk over to the other end of the church to inspect the altar. You let out an involuntary "wow" as you walk up to the raised platform. The place looks like a crime scene. Chairs and shelves have been overturned and wine spilt all over the steps. Seems like no one has bothered to wipe it up. It is wine, isn't it? Of course. Yes, it's wine. It's wine. You could barely make out the cross that once must have been hanging over the altar. It too has been destroyed. A fish sculpture has been put up in its place. You're still surveying the spectacular scene in front of you when you hear the sound of someone smacking their lips. The old man is sitting in an antique wheelchair with his arms flopped on the armrests. You walk up to him. The smell of old leather mingles with the general odor of decay of this place. The man is thrashing his head from side to side. In the faint light, you can see his pupils are cloudy, presumably cataracts. He doesn't look at you directly and simply stares somewhere a few yards next to where you are standing. He starts talking with a scratchy voice. "Harry, my son, is that you?" Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, I'm a private investigator. Disguise your voice. Yeah, Pop. Walk past him. Let's play with Mr. Burns. Yeah, Pop, you answer, your voice disguised in a painfully deep baritone. Damn it, Gary, what are you doing here, you idiot? Your jaw drops. Idiot? Of all the lonely and unkept old people out there, you seem to have met the one who, without hesitation, insults his children. I mean... Sorry, I gotta fix the window here. Ah, shit. Did I close it? There we go. What are you doing, Gary? He growls at you a little more loudly. Want to see how you're doing, Pa? Or, I'll kick your ass, Pa. I mean, he called me an idiot. So, I'll kick your ass. I'll kick your ass, Pa, you say in a chipper tone and earn a throaty laugh, which turns into a rather worryingly violent coughing fit. Even if your day hasn't been too successful so far, at least you've entertained this old man. If only all your missions were that easy. The dry and spindly hands of the man scratch along the armrest. Stop talking garbage, dumbass, and let me know whether everything has been prepared. Yeah, no. Yeah. Liar. Seamus has just told me that one of these stupid detectives is still running around in town. Detectives? You can feel the color draining your face. Sorry, color draining your face. You hope that the eyesight of this guy is as bad as you think. Any advice or I gotta go? Any advice? They need to learn to respect you. Don't even think about telling them what you wasted the last few years of your life on. What have I done wrong, you ask, eager to find out more about this dysfunctional family? You know exactly what the old man screams and digs his claws into the armrest. He comes alive with that very particular spark that parents get when they scream at their children. Jesus Christ. Graphic design? What a joke. Don't you dare tell people. I told everyone that you did coastal research at uni. This conversation resembles more and more what you and your actual family talk about. Okay, Pa, he responds automatically. The old man finally seems pacified. Weakened by his tantrum, he's now slumped back in his wheelchair and smiles peacefully. He's breathing heavily. Oh no, keep going. Anything else? The old man knows more than he lets on, you're certain of that. Anything else, you ask? Once the human sacrifice is in position, nothing can go wrong. Just let their blood flow into the water stream and everything should basically work itself. Damn it! His eyes are now boring into your forehead. You watch me do this your whole live? Your whole life. You'll manage, Gary. Good thing the man is half blind, so he's unable to see how the color is completely draining from your face. Did he just talk about human sacrifice? The old man purses his lips. He's probably just trying to provoke you. I gotta go, Pa. Try to sound relaxed, but not as if you're about to have a nervous breakdown. What is this old guy on about? You made the snap decision that you don't want anything to do with them, and so you rush over to the door. Yeah, get your lazy ass into gear. Your liberal farts school has turned you into a right sissy. Liberal farts? You slip back out through a crack in the gate. An icy wind whips your face, but you still find it warmer than inside the church. You lean back onto the wall of the old church and heave a sigh. You're not sure exactly why you left, but you're glad that you did. You go to the beach, to the lighthouse. Well, you gotta go to the lighthouse. A path consisting of jagged rocks leads to the lighthouse in the harbor. The lighthouse is on the end of a narrow strip of land, and as you walk towards it, the surging waves risk drenching your clothes in icy salt water. It takes all of your concentration and some balancing not to wipe out on the slippery rocks. In your mind's eye, new bills are already fluttering in the mailbox. One from the shoe repair shop and one from the physiotherapist. An overturned wooden sign lies on the ground between a few of the rocks. You read the label. Warning. Absolutely no trespassing. Innsmouth hasn't been precisely inviting since your arrival, so you already know the tune. You approach the lighthouse looking for shelter, but with every step you take, the place becomes more and more unwelcoming. The gray clouds transform into a mighty storm. Lightning strikes the top of the tower and sparks fly. Despite the storm, the lighthouse keeper hasn't put on the signal. There's no beam of light to guide boats out there safely to the harbor of Innsmouth. Soon you're completely drenched, but you make it at last. You're standing at the door leading to the inside of the lighthouse. Some joker has scratched something onto the flaking white layer of paint on the surface of the door. Do not come any closer. They want your body. Well, then they can have me. This sounds suspiciously like a UFO sect, a sex cult. Danger! I mean, I want to say sex cult because they want my body, but I know it's danger. You'd have to be pretty damn stupid not to take this improvised inscription seriously. An old lighthouse holds many potential sources of danger. The rusty structure is about to fall in on itself. Has unsafe railings and stairs, and there just may be a madman with a shotgun waiting for you. You consider the dangers that this dilapidated old building may hold. A fragile building about to collapse. UFO nutters with aluminum hats. Sorry, maybe this is the UK. UFO nutters with aluminium hats. Sex-hungry, mindless, and naked cultists. House dust. Not to mention the missing girl that you need to find. Still, how often do you come to a place like this? You almost automatically, your hand comes to a rest on the black iron door handle and pushes it down slowly and carefully. The door opens a crack, giving you a small glimpse into the neglected interior of the lighthouse. The lighthouse. Let's see. Darkness. Enter it. Go back to we're going in, bud. Unsure of what to do next, you peek into the darkness. It's a dark, tall building. A very, very tall and thin building. Admittedly, it is highly unlikely that the lighthouse will collapse today of all days. At least, this is what you keep repeating in your mind, like a mantra. You step inside. It's dry, but cold. The icy, stale air cools your shivering limbs even further. A spiral staircase leads up to higher levels and the top of the lighthouse. On the higher floors, you can see round windows on the side of the wall, through which thunder and lightning throw brief flickers of light. Even the lowest corridor catches some of this light, so that you find yourself not completely in the dark. There are also some lamps that wind up along the banister. The black and white tiles on the floor have probably not been cleaned since the dawn of time. Storage boxes are cluttered around the place and take up about a third of the area of the ground level. To your astonishment, the walls of the lighthouse consist of solid stone foundation. The metallic red and white painted exterior cladding must have been installed sometime later as a modernization measure. You'd think that a sex cult in here would now be a bit unlikely. You don't want to give up your hopes just yet. Please. What now? Flip the light switch, inspect the boxes, walk up the stairs. I mean, we can see, so do I need the light? Boxes, it's like a third of the area. I don't know if I do that or just going to go on up. I think I'm going to go on up. The banister has suffered the most age damage. The ravages of time have not only worn away the paint on the metal, but also the iron struts and pillars themselves. The scaffold seems to move precariously as you walk up, just as if the construction is about to collapse. When you're halfway up the stairs, you can hear a loud, metallic creaking sound. The stairway suddenly jerks down a little, and your insides feel like they're continuing to drop to the ground. Fine dust flutters down from under your head. You try to guess the depth of the fall. If the structures were to collapse now, you would break quite a few bones, or worse. The chances of you getting caught up in a sex cult decrease with every step you take. I mean, do I go back down if there's a sex cult? I kind of wanna. But there's no sex cult. Keep walking. Just because the core of the spiral staircase is a bit loose, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to collapse, right? And perhaps it's just the residual alcohol in your bloodstream that's causing everything to spin. Dude, I can't be drunk still. You carefully continue your way to one of the higher floors. About 30 feet above the entrance hall is the first mezzanine floor. A metal plate in the core of the spiral staircase would also provide some stability if the whole thing wasn't so damn rusty. You can see a plain bed, a desk with a telephone, a chest of drawers, and a wardrobe with an embedded mirror. A Persian carpet is laid out over the ribbed metal floor, a pathetic attempt to make this room a little more homely. At least there's a window on this level. Rain pelts against the glass. The weather outside seems to get worse and worse. You hesitate. Inspect the room more closely or keep walking up. Back. Just keep swimming. You think you've seen enough and continue to follow the banister up the stairs. Meanwhile, thunder and lightning outside have become so furious, just as if the center of the storm is the lighthouse itself. Stoically, you continue your way upstairs. The banister continues to wobble and squeak suspiciously, but it withstands the strain. The radius of the spiral staircase gradually becomes smaller. You estimate that you're now halfway up the building. You walk past another platform floor. This level is obviously used for nothing but storing boxes. At least 30 or 40 stacked boxes, full to the brim with books. Seeing all these books causes a warm and fuzzy feeling in the pit of your stomach, or you to be sick. I love books, shut up. How adorable. The previous lighthouse keeper must have been one of those bibliophiles. You hope that you get to meet them, even though the place does look pretty deserted. You hesitate again. Inspect the books? Yeah. You take a moment to examine the books and their contents more closely. Quickly you realize that there are almost exclusively non-fiction books. You discover lexicons, grammar for English and Spanish, non-fiction books on biology, chemistry, physics, and geography. There's even a Bible, and a guide to etiquette and a worn handbook for tourists on the East Coast. Out of interest, you flip through some of the books. The newest ones seem to be from the 1980s, the greatest era of all, but some go far as back as the 20s. Many are decorated with strange curls around the edges. In the last box, you find a few books that differ greatly from the scientific character of the rest. These are books about occultism and obscure religions, titles like The Mysteries of the Worm, Unspeakable Cults, and Liber Ivorus. Yeah. There's also a book by a popular UFO nutcase, and suddenly everything makes sense. Maybe the lighthouse keeper was a little soft in the head? Probably the loneliness. You keep walking up the stairs, past another mezzanine, and then you're on the upper level of the lighthouse. It's getting more and more unlikely that you'll find anything relating to your case here. But what about the sex cult? Up to the last one, or look at the mezzanine. Let's go up. The last steps are always the hardest. Or was it the first ones? No matter which steps, your heart is now beating so strongly that you can feel it pressing against your chest. Once you're back home, you should really consider a healthier lifestyle. At last, you've reached the top floor of the lighthouse. Gold glass windows separate you from the thunderstorm outside. Rain pours down on the panes and occasionally illuminates the sky and reveals the billowing sea. If you were an artist, this would be an ideal place to paint tasteless paintings with ships on the churning waters. In the center of the floor, there is a metal column that must be there to support the lighthouse's uppermost platform. You assume that this all serves to stabilize and balance the construction. Apart from that, the floor is completely unfurnished. Sheets of paper with strange doodles are fixed to some of the window panes. Pencil portraits of people, trees, houses, dogs. Around each drawing, someone seems to have made notes, but you can't make out the language. You wonder if it was a destitute artist who lived there towards the end, or some sort of Russian sleeper agent. Another ramp leads to the top of the lighthouse, where the actual lighthouse apparatus must be installed. You walk up these steep stairs. You've done it. You made it to the top of the lighthouse. Not in a million years do you think that this job would take you to such an exciting place in a boring coastal town. There's still a nasty thunderstorm out there, and the lightning keeps illuminating the glass cage in erratic intervals. Spellbound, you look at the roaring waves. They're beautiful. The powerful and steady movement of the waves, the foamy saltwater splashing up oh so incredibly high. You're so enticed by all the majestic beauty that you almost wish you were outside now to feel the fresh sea breeze on your skin. But wait, why did you come here again? You try to tear yourself away from the endless spectacle of the sea and turn your attention to the center of the small glass dome. It is then that you make a curious observation. English still hard. The lighthouse has no light at all. There is no light construction that would rotate in the direction of the harbor or the sea. Not even a flashlight on a microphone stand. Where you would expect some sort of electrical machine, there's only a black column of about 3 feet high, whose curved forms merge at the top into some kind of marble plate. An altar. A voice in the back of your head informs you. There's a cube on the altar. Is it a tesseract? Do I look at it or leave this place immediately? No. We look at the cube. Intrigued, you walk closer. The material of the cube must be bronze. It glistens dully in front of the black marble column. The object looks as if it belongs there. It's perfect right where it is. Everything looks as if it's been made from one piece. What you first thought was some arbitrary decoration turns out to be hieroglyphics, cranes, simple tools, knowing eyes. Curiously, you walk out to the column on which the cube rests. What are Egyptian hieroglyphs doing in a lighthouse on the east coast of the United States? Your fingers are itching. You take the cube. I think taking that's going to cause me to die or something. Let's get out of here. Only with a lot of effort do you manage to take a step backwards. You stare at your hands. You had already stretched them out. You desperately wanted to hold the bronze cube in your hands, feel the texture of its surface under your fingertips, take it to bed with you, give it loving, gentle kisses. You are very warm all of a sudden. Was it the rain that made your clothes soaking wet, or did you start to sweat without noticing? Okay, get the hell out of here. You decide that this is the official end of your career as a lighthouse tourist. You abruptly turn from the altar and the cube on it and walk to the ramp that leads down to the lower levels. You notice that there's a piece of paper pinned up right next to the entrance. I mean, it's already trying to kill me. Do I stop to read it or just get the fuck out? Oh, fuck it, get out of here. Never mind, this place has come too creepy for you. You bravely take flight and run down the ramp and stairs. You let the heavy metal door fall shut again. As the lock clicks with a muffled sound, you feel a sense of relief. As weight seems to have fallen on your shoulders, the strange notion that you have almost escaped dire fate spreads all through your body. But with every step you take away from the lighthouse, that feeling disappears, again into nothing. Sweet oblivion. The way back to the harbor via the stone path becomes easier with every step. By the time you've made it through the uneven stretch back to the mainland, the dark clouds have completely disappeared, and the previous lashing wind has given way to a tepid sea breeze. It also stopped raining. Only your soaked clothes still bear witness to the short but intense wonder of nature. The back of your head is tingling. Keep looking over your shoulder or keep walking to the beach. I think we'll just keep walking. Don't turn around and look. Excuse me. I speed up. You're suddenly yearning for human contact, even though you're not entirely sure why. The beach. The screeching of seagulls and endless white, well, brown, okay, fine. Gray beach and the sound of waves. Clean, well, potentially clean water. The algae are way too dense to really tell. You walk on the sand and move a little closer to the waterline, curious about what you might discover there. Although the sea is not stormy and the tide is low, Innsmouth Beach is not really a touristy place. Everything is simply too gray. This is what you associate with a real vacation. The sea, cocktails, television. Now, I'm a boozy detective, so cocktails. Give me a sec here. My throat is parched. Cocktails. The more paper umbrellas, bits of fruit, and straws, the better. You rub your hands. You can hardly wait to blissfully collapse into a hammock with a drink in your hand. You were born for that. Lost in thought, you keep wandering over the dunes. You notice how all the colors of the sea and the beach seem to be swallowed up by the strange light conditions here. You hold your hand up in front of your face. Your skin looks gray and matte, but still you feel relaxed. The murmur of the sea invigorates you. You feel a deep sense of longing within you, a serene sense of inner peace and freedom, until the techno music starts. A monotonous beat. The sound seems to come directly from the beach bar a few hundred yards off in the distance, which appears to be surrounded by about a dozen people. Given the changing weather, it's perhaps no surprise. What else is one supposed to do on the beach apart from drink cheap cocktails and dancing to bad music? Something strange grabs your attention. A kind of cage standing in the shallow water, perhaps 12 feet wide and deep. Do I walk to the cage or the bar? I'm a drunk at the bar. The cries of seagulls are increasingly drowned out by early 90s techno beats. One note, that's all some people need to enjoy themselves. One note in an endless loop. The owner of the beach bar is taking great pains to make up for some of Innsmouth's deficits. The bar is made from wooden planks and features a nice countertop and an exotic canopy made from palm trees. Admittedly, the palm trees are no longer green. They're gray and dried out, just as if a demon had sucked the life force out of them. Wow. But if it's easy to imagine all of this, it must have looked quite pretty once. The bar is flanked by wooden bar stools, and a few meters away towards the ocean, 2 rows of deck chairs have been put up so that people can get drunk while laying down. Yes. From a distance, the bar looks busy, but now, as you arrive, you realize that the party's already over. If it ever did take place. A dozen people hang out here. A few surfer dudes stagger about like zombies. Some of them carrying empty cocktail glasses around. Some of them yell, "Party!" and "Woohoo!" enthusiastically. Precisely. This kind of people. A guy with long hair and sunglasses nods his head in time to the techno beat and taps on the bar counter with his flat hand. There's no bar staff in sight. One of the tourist families you had spotted on the way here is spread out on the deck chairs. They're evidently trying to keep away from the party. You look around. Bar, deck chair. While I do like getting drunk while laying down, it can't hurt just to rest for a moment. It means you'll be able to resume your mission full of energy. Or whatever. Most of the chairs are free. All offer excellent views of the sea and the increasingly cloudy horizon. You're spoilt for choice. Of course, you're going to where the tourists are, somewhere away from people. Stay away from it all. You decide on the deck chair that's the furthest away from the beach bar and its visitors, yet you're not alone. It's the family you've already noticed a few times today. Happily chatting parents who are constantly eating their 2 chronically bad-tempered children. The 4 are hard to miss with their loud chatter and tasteless tourist outfits. They've settled down on the deck chair, sipping on some soft drinks. Not too shabby. The dark clouds drawing together on the horizon worry you a little, but they're far away enough for you to simply enjoy this moment on a beach. Technically, you've been near a beach the whole time, but you couldn't really switch off. There was a haunting sense of danger, feeling of paranoia that you simply couldn't shake off. Luckily, the paranoia is gone now. A cool breeze caresses your face as you tune out the other tourists' annoying conversations. You listen to the murmur of the waves. The regular to and fro of the sea has a soothing effect on you. Your eyes fall short. Shut. Ow. It's cold. You're freezing, which is annoying because you had settled down quite comfortably on one of the deck chairs. You could swear you noticed a shadow while half asleep. There was a figure who tried to grab you and carry you away. Was that all a dream? A chilly wind blows on your face. Oh, damn it. This case is going to be the death of you. You could simply lie there as if dead. Your attempts to return to a more comfortable position are punished by a stabbing pain in your behind. Some bit of the chair is digging into you. Probably a cheap model. Damn tight asses, you mutter weakly and push yourself into an upright position. The sun is now set and all the holiday makers have gone. Instead of freezing their asses off, they're probably sitting in a warm hotel by now. The moon illuminates the beach and the waves shimmer in its eerie green glow. Green. Nature is fascinating. You stretch your tense neck when you notice some lights off in the distance. Night has fallen, and with each passing minute, it seems to get chillier. The light appears to be moving and are leading you away from the town. You wonder whether you should take a closer look at the spectacle or go to your warm hotel. I go along the beach towards the lights or go to the hotel? I mean, we're here. Let's go to the lights. Why not? The day is almost certainly over anyway, and maybe you can at least manage to figure out what the lights in the distance are all about. You trudge through the sand. Then you notice the lights you were heading towards are moving. They do not stand still, but twitch back and forth. Hang on a moment. You're on a beach. It's night. Weird blinking lights. This is clearly a rave, a UFO sect, a sex cult. Okay, I know for a fact that I'm getting lied to, that this is not a sex cult, and there are no sex cults here. UFOs in a Lovecraftian thing, no, so it's got to be a rave. A rave. That makes sense. The only question is whether you'll join the party or not. Raves have always been a favorite pastime or annoying. I mean, strange staccato movements and colorful glow sticks. You've always been a fan of things that move quickly and emit light, just like most cats. That's why rave parties have always fascinated you. You hurry along. You've arrived. Somewhat indecisively, you stand on a sand dune and take in the spectacle. There are 20, maybe 30 people who have gathered here on the beach, close to the waves. You can see that they're naked under the rags and nets that they're wearing on their bodies. It's a sex cult. Damn it. They're performing a sensual and seemingly uncontrolled dance while waving glow sticks in the air. Ah, fuck, it is a rave. Is it a sex cult rave? The masks that people are wearing seem familiar from film and television. Distorted faces with angry mouths and ugly googly eyes. Reminds you a little of voodoo, but here on the coast of New England? You're not quite sure whether you're at a rave party or actually an exotic fertility ritual. Sex cult. The acoustics are bad. Instead of the clear techno beat, the people here rely on singing. They could do with rehearsing, though. Without any sense of rhythm, the people are chanting the same refrain over and over again. I'm not reading that. Let's say Cthulhu, though, so join in. The whole part of holidays is doing crazy things you normally wouldn't. Besides, nobody here knows you. You sneak up to the group of dancers and attempt to seamlessly blend into the chaotic spectacle. You're lucky. In the midst of the rags that most people are wearing here, your detective outfit doesn't particularly stand out. You're just another freak among many. Thanks. You get swept up in the ecstasy of the dance. Your thighs tremble, and your arms wriggle about. You throw your head back and join the loud chanting. Yeah, yeah, sully frogs, you enthusiastically imitate the chant. A few glow sticks have dropped during the dance and lie abandoned on the sand. When you bend down to pick one of them up, you realize that they're not disposable glow sticks at all. They're algae. Glowing algae? You keep dancing cheerfully. Past the bizarre masks with swollen eyes, which up close look more threatening. It's scary. From a distance, this horror part of the show would have completely escaped you. The party seems to be shifting on to the next phase. The dancers have now stopped their ecstatic movements and stand still with their outstretched arms facing the ocean. Silence. Complete silence, apart from the monotonous murmur of the waves. Then you can make out another sound. A strange hissing. Another group of amateur actors joins the dancers. Nice. They come straight out of the water and wear costumes more suitable for Halloween than a rave party. Greenish scales cover their costumes. Or is it professional makeup? The scaly skin costumes look super real. The muscular, clumsy, and much too long arms end in a set of lifelike claws. Their heads are a mixture of dumb-looking fish and a deadly grizzly. Whoever came up with the mask seriously needs to see a therapist. When the first masked creature reaches the group of dancers, you realize these guys must have seriously trained for this gig. All of them have bodies you can only get through years of hard physical training and guzzling down loads of steroids. They're also stark naked. God damn it, is this like a Cthulhu sex cult? You tilt your head involuntarily. Some things on bodies are quite difficult to replicate, even with paper mache or plastic mold. You know this from your own Halloween craft endeavors. It is even more difficult to make these things move and react authentically. It takes a lot of willpower to tear your eyes away from the sight. The dance group seems to welcome the newcomers warmly. They mingle. Each of the costume giants seems to know exactly with whom they want to spend the evening. It does not take long, and every party guest is paired up with one of the fish creatures. Kinky. You stand a little off to the side and watch as they explore each other's bodies. Then they start to... Whoa. Okay, this party is definitely X-rated. A brave choice for a tourist entertainment program. But you're still gasping for air indignantly. The couples are already rolling in the stand, groaning with pleasure. So it's a sex Cthulhu cult. Goddamn yes. Only one of the costume giants has not yet found a partner. His milky eyes fall on you. Uh-oh. He stalks over to you on his long legs. With one of his claws, he points to you, then himself. Oh, no, thank you. And, why hell will not? Get over here. Yeah, fuck it. Cthulhu sex cult, let's do it. Why the hell not? Get over here, you say, and open your arms. What follows is private, and definitely not R-rated. You are fascinated, no, thrilled with the fish mutant costume. Oh my god, I'm doing it with a Cthulhu creature. The things you like best are the universal sex organs, the full lips and long tongue, the soft but deadly claws. All of them? The full lips and the long tongue, baby. The bulging lips of the costume taste of salt and make you very thirsty. Why is he groaning? It could, of course, also be due to the fact that you're sweating and rolling around in the sand with this man. His long, thin tongue explores the insides of your mouth. It touches the back of your throat and briefly causes you to gag, which almost ruins your sensual foreplay. What the fuck am I doing? It must be the mask. It must be a mask. God damn it. That was wild. When the deed is done, you lie in the cool sand in your partner's enveloping embrace. All around you, the other couples do the same. Together, you look up the green hue of the starry sky. No words are needed. The man in the fish costume only makes hissing and bleeding sounds, but you have a deeper connection. This is rare. You feel at ease. Maybe for the first time in your life. Time flies much too fast. The rave party is over. Most of the dancers from Innsmouth start walking towards the harbor on shaky legs. And soon your partner is near. Fucking A. And so your partner is near too. You try to give him your phone number, but he plays dumb. He snarls and shovels toward the ocean. Just when you think you found someone with whom you can live out your animal instincts, that person decides to wordlessly disappear into the sea. Typical. You watch thoughtfully as his head disappears below between the waves. You're not 100% sure if you used this day to the fullest, considering the reason you actually came here. Neither are you sure who the guy and his friends were and why they showed up in costume to orgy. And well, some other things also remain unclear. With a sigh, you pat the sound off your clothes and make your way to the hotel. What the fuck is this game? Darkness has befallen Innsmouth. Old-fashioned gas lights illuminates a few patches along the dark alleyways, but generally it doesn't look as if the town planners were too fussed with providing adequate lighting. Some streets are completely plunged in the darkness. You struggle more and more to find your way around. Was this awful gargoyle already here earlier in the afternoon? Or are you in the wrong part of the town altogether? When you're almost about to give up your search for the Gilman Hotel and resign to finding a cozy spot somewhere on the curb, you see it, the outline of the hotel roof. Luckily, the hotel is set apart clearly from the misshapen nearby tenements. The Gilman Hotel is an architectural masterpiece, although right now in the dark you can't make out many of its stylistic features. The hotel majestically rises 4 stories above the rickety houses that surround it. A sea of leaves glint in the light of the moon. Must be ivy. An empty parking lot makes you think that the hotel must still have some rooms available. You felt like you've been followed for a long time. The growing paranoia and constant glancing over your shoulder. You'll be able to forget all of this very soon. You follow the path leading up to the entrance and come to a standstill in front of the massive oak door. A massive oak door. Your hand touches the cold metal handle. You press it down, pull, but to your surprise, the door doesn't open. The hotel seems shut. Do we ring or look for another way in? Another way in. You walk around the property. Metal bars in front of the windows make it impossible to simply climb inside, but you had at least hoped to find a lit window which you could knock to make yourself known to someone inside. They won't even let you give one of the night staff a good scare. All the rooms inside the hotel seem to be in complete darkness, including the foyer. Foyer. Not foyer. Foyer. No one is working. No one is having a drink at the hotel bar. The whole building seems to be completely shut down. Keep walking or give up. I mean, fuck it, I don't... It's hard to believe such a thing is possible these days, but the hotel really seems to be closed. No one is allowed in or out for that matter. Do the guests know that they're locked in the building overnight? Will there be another gormless tourist in an hour or two trying to get in just as you are now? Not actually your problem, you remind yourself. You turn around, leave the hotel behind you, and walk back to the street. Downtown. You wander the streets. The dark clouds spread out from the sea like claws that ominously reach for the town. Reach for you. The sun is set and the temperature is dropping fast. The air, too, gets cooler and a rough wind whips through the alleys. You're lost. You have no idea how to get out of this godforsaken town, and as if that weren't bad enough, you're also underestimated the September weather on the coast. And the real cold temperature is still yet to come. Scattered raindrops do not bode well. You aimlessly wander the streets. The narrow alleys are a labyrinth of simple wooden fisherman huts. At least you're not completely on your own. Look at that. Even at this late hour, there are groups of people out patrolling, with torches and pitchforks, and knives and nets. Another M there. Walk towards them or stay in the... No, you know... Frankenstein wouldn't go towards them. It's not necessarily the knives and masks or nets that make you worried. It's the limp that many of the villagers have which makes you nervous. The people don't walk. They waddle, stagger, stumble, and shuffle with their upper bodies, lifted up like malicious trolls in a fantasy film. You found refuge behind some old barrels on a narrow side street. You would love to simply huddle up there, but in the middle of the alley, you're without protection against the rain. The pitchfork mob still hasn't noticed you. You wonder what to do next. Keep moving or knock. Let's see if we can knock. Maybe not all the people here are cranky, cold-hearted hicks. Maybe someone will let you spend the night in their house if you just ask politely. Maybe pigs can fly. The opposite was never proven. Anyway, The idea of spending the night in the warmth and leaving Innsmouth early tomorrow morning fills you with a new hope. Your hand glides over your wrinkled trench coat. It really needs to be ironed. You're a freelance, so you have enough experience with liking pitiable. You've got a good feeling about this. Since all wooden huts look similarly run down, you simply knock on the next best door in order to escape the rain. The patter of the ever-increasing rain is the only thing you can hear. No steps, no metallic clicking of keys, no good Samaritan to let you into their house in this dark hour. No one seems to be in. No, we're good. Try another one. There's another just over there. Again, you try your luck and knock 3 times quickly. Again, no one lets you in. The difference is that, this time, you hear the rustling sound of curtains. In the window next to the door, the curtain sways slightly back and forth until it comes to rest. There was someone. Keep moving. Try to... okay. Leaning your arms against the wooden planks, you try to look inside, but it's too dark to see anything or anyone. This is exactly the kind of cowardly attitude that has led this town into poverty and ruin, you hiss at the curtains, because somebody must be listening. Good deeds are what separate everyday heroes from common peasants. Good deeds like giving shelter to poor private detectives on rainy nights. You can't be sure that the occupant of this house has even heard one word of what you just said. Still, you feel a little better now. The creaking sign behind you makes you freeze. The door. Right behind you, an old woman is peering out of the house in front of which you were shouting. Was I shouting or just talking? She has cracked open the front and examines you through round spectacles. She reminds you of an insect. Her voice is rough as sandpaper. What do you want? I need a place to stay for the night. Can I use your phone? Oh God, are we gonna try to sleep with this? No, let's do it. You let your charm work its magic. You have very beautiful eyes, you say to the old woman and wink at her. The old woman squeaks in delight. She essentially runs her hand with its parchment-like skin over the wooden door frame. Oh, wait.
Oh, you little rascal.
The door opens a little more. With a mixture of fascination and horror, you realize this is all actually happening. The white-haired woman keeps stroking the door frame. She wants to hear more. That much is clear. What the fuck am I getting into? Oh my God. Are you gonna keep flirting with the old lady so she'll let you stay somewhere warm? Fuck yeah, we are. Of course, you put everything into the balance when it comes to surviving this ghastly night in a potentially dangerous town. How's it going? You add. The old woman giggles like a teenager and purposely takes a step to the side and motions for you to enter. You try to make out detail about the inside of the dark old house. Candles are lined up on shelves and small side tables. A lot of them are almost burned down. At least they keep you from running into the furniture. The old woman drags you by the wrist into a small room, which probably holds the guest bed. The guest room is also lit by nothing other than candles. It looks far more inviting than the rest of the house. This is probably due to the light-colored wallpaper which is covering the rotted wood. The white-haired lady has already sat down on the bed. Oh my God, here we go. She wants you to keep her company. What else is there to say? The night works out okay. In the grand scheme of things, you soon find out that the woman's name is Ethel, because at some point she asks you to shout out her name. She has 8 children, all of whom have all left home to go into the sea, but she won't go into more detail. You don't push her, you have other problems. You learn a lot about life that night. For example, what you're willing to do for shelter and a warm meal. how agile a 102-year-old woman with hip problems are when they really, really want something. Oh, fuck me running. Late at night, you still lie awake. Ethel snores peacefully, her short arms wrapped around you. It's nice and warm. Oh, your mind wanders to... Were those really patrols who were looking for defenseless people? What did they want with them? Was it some kind of vigilante thing? You prefer not knowing and hope that none of the other tourists have been caught by these creepy people. You close your eyes and snooze away. You're sleeping great. In the morning, Ethel has prepared a huge breakfast for you, and the first sun rays of the day bathe the house, which seemed so creepy last night, in a soft light. It's crazy how perception can play such tricks on you. Ethel, you say when the old lady does the dishes. Last night was... Don't make me do this. No, fuck it, I want to do it. I gotta see where it goes. Incredibly hot, you say and wink at her. Ethel laughs loudly and pinches your cheek firmly. Thanks, kid, she replies, giggling, and turns back to the dishes. What? That's it? Pretty cool. God damn, this woman is so cool. She already drives you crazy. Her movements, caused by her hip problems, resemble the robot dance. Fuck me. You sincerely hope to be this cool when you're 102 years old? Let me know when you're back in town, kid, are Ethel's last words before she slams the door in your face. The woman knows what she wants. Time to get out of here. It's a Sunday morning with no shady patrols and frog-like creatures lurking in the shadows. Every now and then you have thoughts like, nice place, or not so terrible, creep up on you. The sunshine helps, definitely. The front of gray clouds is already lurking on the horizon, but the bright morning hours ease the paranoia from last night. What also helps is the fact that not a soul is out and about. If you looked like the people from Innsmouth, you'd probably also only venture out at night. With these musings, you walk through the old town and back to the city center. It doesn't take you long until you stand in front of the bus that will take you and a handful of people back to Boston. It didn't go so badly. Months later, the first rays of sun caresses your cheeks. A good day indeed. Even the traffic right outside your bedroom is moderate today, at least for this early time of the day. A smile sneaks on your face when you think about your trip to Innsmouth. A bunch of odd characters, no doubt, but that's just what country folk are like. You already missed the sea breeze. Maybe another weekend trip to that little seaside town is in order soon. Living like high society on a shoestring budget. Then you might also be able to try those fish delicacies you've been dreaming about. With a yawn, you bury your head back in your pillow. Just a few more minutes. Wait. That's it? Cluelessly, I escaped from Innsmouth. All in all, a nice weekend. Okay, well, there's a chapter. Hey, like that. We did a thing. Wow, that was... I did not expect that. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna end early. After that, hip movement bit, that was disturbing. So I slept with the woman at the beginning, and I slept with a 100-year-old woman named Ethel with a hip problem. Definitely not a Cthulhu game I've been used to. This game has... How many endings does this one have? Hold on, let me go ahead and pull it up. Steam. The Innsmouth Case. I think it had like quite a few endings. There are a total of 27 possible endings. Wow. Yeah. We'll try it again later. Maybe. Looks like you can load, so I'm going to go to the main menu here. I can start from other places. So I can load a chapter. Oh, you can start from anywhere. Okay. Well, I guess that's me escaping, so I don't want to start there. So I'd probably start at the last one, like the city. So next time we play, we'll start at city. All right, guys, I'm headed out early. Hope you guys enjoyed. Well, good night. Stay safe, be kind. Back tomorrow night. As always, don't want to play him. He has a good one. Peace.